Shauna Robison said authorities will not get a share of the £147 million the Scottish government has pledged to fund a council tax freeze equivalent to 5% if they increase council tax. Scotland's Finance Secretary, Shauna Robison, has told councils they won't get extra cash to cover a council tax freeze if they decide to raise the tax instead. She explained on BBC Radio Scotland, "We have provided £147 million to councils to fund a council tax freeze equivalent to 5%, to help households when the cost of living crisis is still there, bills are high, and it is an area people can have certainty over that the bills are not going to rise." Robison also mentioned, "We've also provided £145 million to maintain teacher numbers, and of course, we know to close the poverty-related attainment gap and to improve education, teachers are an important part of that. So we believe these elements of funding are important. But ultimately, it is for councils to decide, but they can't then have the money for those purposes if they decide to do otherwise." Her words come as local authorities are getting ready to plan their budgets. Robison said the budget for councils is fair, even though she thinks the Scottish government's budget has been cut by the UK government. "I think the whole of the public sector is challenged, and we have to be fair to the whole of the public sector, which means a fair settlement for local government," she said. "And within that, we have prioritized some of the areas that are really important, and we want to work with local government to move those forward." Talking about council umbrella body COSLA, she stated they wanted the cash for the council tax freeze, plus a number of other asks, which isn't a very reasonable negotiating position. She conveyed her disappointment, saying, "We had been making progress, I thought, to date, but political leaders have passed a motion that makes that very challenging." She reiterated the need for fairness and reasonableness in discussions. "We will continue to discuss with COSLA where there are areas of further compromise, but it has to be reasonable, it has to be fair to the rest of the public sector, it has to be fair to council taxpayers." Last week, COSLA agreed that the council tax freeze should be on a voluntary basis, and the £147 million provided by the Scottish government for this purpose should be distributed to all councils, allowing them to increase council tax up to 5%. Councillor Stephen McCabe, the Labour leader of Inverclyde Council, expressed his opinion of the Verity House agreement between the Scottish government and councils. He boldly stated, "I think it is absolutely dead in the water. I've never known the relations between local government and the Scottish government to be so low. I don't know where we go from here, to be perfectly honest." First Minister Humza Yousaf announced a council tax freeze at this SNP party conference last October without consulting council leaders, a move COSLA described as having caused real anger among members at the time.